Okay, welcome back to the Norginborg Trials. Tonight I'm going to be trying the Porsche 911 GT3 to see how patriotic this car is. Okay, let's try this bad boy out. Now, I've noticed one thing about Porsches: they all seem to be rear-wheel drive cars. That wouldn't be a problem if it wasn't for the fact that they also had rear engines. I don't really understand the rear engine, rear-wheel drive. Maybe the game just emulates it poorly, but it has a terrible, terrible case of understeer. It's like the back of the car wants to keep going, but the front says no. Also, I have to admit, this video wasn't made just to try out the Porsche GT3. I already know Porsche cars suck so bad, there's no possible way that they could succeed on anything, especially the Norginborg. Okay, so I'm not really drawing their patriotism into question. I mean, even if they were unpatriotic, which I'm not saying they are, because they probably aren't, but even if they were, if this is the worst we have to worry about, we should be okay. Should be. What I really wanted to talk about here, I saw this video on YouTube from this guy called Shock All Now. He does really good motorcycle videos, I have to give him that, but when it comes to his religious videos, he's just kind of crazy, or really crazy rather. He made this video basically saying that atheists were a bunch of children who had gone astray and they need God's help. And they all atheists, apparently, according to him, all atheists know God exists. They just refuse to admit it. So yeah, he's got a video log, and the only real way to respond to a video log is by another video logger, and since this is the closest thing I have to a video log, it will have to make do. I'm just going to start going through points I noticed on the video. I have some notes here, so if my car goes flying off the road, that would probably be why. Note number 1. It's good to know that he was once an atheist, because heaven knows we're all born into Christian society, or something like that. I guess most people aren't atheists when they're born. I don't know. But he constantly claims he is an atheist. And he constantly beeps home the fact that because of that, he knows all that goes through an atheist's mind. Well, that's extremely presumptuous, and yeah, that's utter bullshit. I mean, I'm an agnostic myself, and I don't speak for the whole agnostic community. There's lots of people whose opinions would disagree with mine, who also call themselves agnostics. But what I do speak for is just one example. I mean, I'm a solid example of someone who's not really afraid of much of anything supernatural. I don't really believe in a lot of it. That's why. If you don't believe in it, you can't be afraid of it. That's like being afraid of Cthulhu or something. It just doesn't. It's silly. But he uses that stance to criticize atheists as though he was one of them, but he found the light. Well, good for you, but yeah, you're not everybody. He also seems to think there's some sort of conspiracy on YouTube where the atheists are trying to get Christianity knocked off or something. I think maybe he's been watching a little too much Venom Fang X or something, but yeah, the atheists, they don't have a cult, because that's sort of what atheists are against. I know a lot of them are, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, I don't think there's an atheist YouTube cult trying to get Christian videos knocked off the internet. I think that's more like pockets of intelligence, I would call it, but yeah. He also keeps mentioning the atheist belief system. That struck me as a bit of an oxymoron. Atheist belief system. And he says that the atheists propagate their belief system by breaking logic and stuff like that, which is really ironic almost sadly ironic. But it's also saying that an atheist is propagating his belief system is like saying that it's like saying that your neighbor who doesn't own a car is saying that you don't like their bumper sticker. It's just plain stupid. It keeps condescending to atheists being children who need to be led back to God. And he keeps saying that any atheist response, this is really one thing he beats home, any atheist response will just be done out of fear. And he really gets all condescending on that, but he makes a lot of ad hominem arguments, and I'm glad to know he makes so many, because that allows me to make some, and I really, really, really wanted to make some while I was watching this video. So to have permission to do that is just a blessing. The entire video just irritated me. It was so angering because he was so presumptuous throughout the entire thing, but he just keeps making revolving door arguments. Every single argument he makes could be said of people who believe in Christianity, and it's just, he doesn't seem to realize that. And I was tempted to make a video emulating his, but that would take way too much work, and it's just not worth a video of this caliber. I mean, it's obvious he didn't put any thought into this. But the entire video, one thing you'll notice is, he's got a really eerie, calm demeanor about him. The things he says could at best be called conjecture, and more realistically called the ramblings of someone with all the class and mental activity of Scrotum. I mean, the guy, I don't think he had one valid point throughout the entire thing. There was also one word he mentioned. Let's see, the liberal, indoctrinating, godless, government-run school system. And that is all one word in his videos, so I'm guessing that he has either rehearsed it or uses it so much that it's just become second nature to him. The guy says, this is probably the most damnable line in the entire fucking video. He says, I have a humble heart, but I had courage to admit that he was wrong. The entire video is just him grandstanding the stupidity, or supposed stupidity, of atheists. And he has the audacity to say, oh, well, I have a humble heart. No, you don't. You just said in your video that atheists are a bunch of lost, scared children in need of their God, who they all know exists, but reject anyway because they're afraid of admitting they're wrong. Glad we threw the taboo of character attacks out the window, by the way, because while it's normally bad form and stuff to use character attacks, really hard to avoid here. For one, because it's impossible for a person that shouldn't be insulted to make arguments this goddamn stupid. Like, he went out of his way to take a personal shot at the world record for number of flames caused for one's daily Bible reading. And by golly, I think he got it. You just look at the comments on his video. He keeps mentioning that atheists are wrong and how there's surmounting evidence against them, but he doesn't mention any of it. It's just one bullshit point after another, after another. And about halfway through the video, it gets so presumptuous and so undignified, it's almost unbearable to watch the rest of it. The video is just so twisted, so fundamentally broken in its attitude towards atheism. You'd think that Shock All was trying to make himself like a prime candidate for institutionalization. I know I'm not supposed to be speaking for the whole agnostic community here, but just for a minute, I think it's like, I think I can go out on a limb here and say that the agnostic community would not like to be spoken down to like they were a bunch of children, especially if you're trying to convert their way of thinking. Videos like Shock Oz, just really, they're proof that treating closed-minded, condescending dickheads with any kind of respect or dignity is pointless, as they obviously harbor none for anyone who would dare not to believe what they've convinced themselves is the truth. There's really no other way to put it.